How is everybody doing today? My name's Chris. Welcome to Bourbinsane. We're back today and we're going to be talking about two very unique whiskeys coming out of Barrell Craft Spirits. First one, Barrell Bourbon Batch 23, and the other, Barrell Rye Batch 3. Let's get right into it. Alright, now full disclosure, these bottles were sent to me from Barrell. Couldn't be more grateful, couldn't be more appreciative. As always, told them it's going to be an honest review. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. But I'm excited to try these. You know, Barrell, for me, always has the issue of price. You know, expensive bottles, is the juice in the bottle really worth it? Well, let's find out. They do source all their juice. So let's start with the bourbon, and then we'll go to the rye second. So this is Barrell Bourbon, Cask Strength Batch 23. This is a 10-year, age-stated bottle, but it actually is a blend of older whiskeys. So included in the bourbon is a selection of 10, 12, and 15-year-old barrels. Of course, just like all bourbon requirements, aged in charred white American oak. Now, distilled and blended from multiple places. So Tennessee. So I'm going to guess that's going to be most likely George Dickel juice coming out of Tennessee. There's a couple where it could be Brown-Forman as well, but most likely Dickel, and Barrell has used a lot of Dickel barrels in the past. So, Kentucky is another one where they're blending from, and then Indiana. So again, most likely MGP. Nice, respectable proof, as mentioned. 53.89%. So 107.78. Should be a good offering. I've had probably 4 or 5 Barrell bourbons in the past with what I've tried. Some have been good, some have been bad. I honestly can't remember which batches they were, so I can't speak to that. But, I know what Barrell's all about. And I know that they are quality whiskeys. As I mentioned, price is the issue. So let's get into the bourbon first, and then we'll move on to the rye second. Oh, all right. It's actually a really, really wonderful nose. Just on initial nose right there. You definitely can tell that there's George Dickel in this. So it's definitely, I'm going to say, sourced from Dickel. But I'll tell you what, it's not the off-putting vitamin note you expect with George Dickel. It's not. It smells really, really nice, actually. Really nice. Cinnamon. It's got a little bit of a nuttiness, like a dry nuttiness note as well. A lot of baking spices. A little bit of earthiness, but it's almost like convection sugar. Convection sugar is coming to me on the nose. Wonderful proof, wonderful creaminess. Smells really good. Let's give it a sip. Cheers, everyone. Ooh. Oh, yeah. All right. I've been negative, like I said, on some Barrell products in the past. Initial taste, this is good. I had one pour before this. So this is the second pour out of the bottle. This is really good. It's very, very creamy, very sugary. A very, very sweet, I'd say almost desserty whiskey is what this is. It's reminded me of almost like a deep, what do they call those? Deep fried, cinnamon covered things you get at the carnival. Churros, like a churro. It's reminding me of a churro. That's what it is. Great mouth coating, great finish actually. Mouth coating and finish is a huge thing with me in general. With all whiskey, this is delivering. It's really delivering. Price on this bottle, it's going to be the same with both. They're about $90. They are about $90. If you buy this bottle at $90, at least the bourbon, you won't be disappointed. I'll say that right now. I personally would probably still take an Elijah Craig Barrell Proof over this, but Barrell really is, they're expertly blending. They really are. Blending is an art form, and Barrell is nailing it. They're already becoming one of the most successful whiskey companies out there as far as craft spirits go. I like the bottles. They always stick out on the shelf. Beautiful looking bottles, and honestly, the juice in this is really, really good. If you have the $90, pick it up. It's worth a pickup, even at $90. I think batch 23 is. But if you can find some of those other expressions a little bit cheaper, like a Stag Junior, like an Elijah Craig Barrell Proof, better value for the money, in my opinion, in the bourbon realm. Let's move on to the rye. All right, moving on to the Barrell Rye Batch 3. I'm excited for this one. This bottle is very unique, and what they use in this is different than what you'll expect out of a normal rye whiskey. So this actually has Polish rye in it. Now, I don't know anything about Polish rye. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever had a whiskey with Polish rye. So it's going to be a new, interesting thing for me, first time with all you. So let's talk about what's in this rye here. It's a blend of straight rye whiskeys. Now, distilled, as I mentioned, in Poland, Indiana, so again, probably MGP, Tennessee, once again, could be George Dickel, Poland, and Canada. So a lot of different ryes they're sourcing from here and blending multiple barrels. Now, barrel age, this is a 4-year age statement on the bottle, but they're actually blending 4 up to 14-year-old barrels. So the 14-year-old barrels are sourced from the Canadian whiskey, from what I was reading. So most likely the Canadian's going to be the older that they're blending in. So when we think Canadian, possibly Alberta rye. You know, we'll see what notes come out. You know, Alberta you can pick out a lot in your rye whiskey, so we'll see. Proof on this is, again, very, very respectable. 116.7 cast strength. You know, wonderful. Wonderful proof, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I really want to see what that Polish rye brings to the table. So let's go right into the nose on this. Oh, okay. That's immediately just different, you know, and I don't know if that's the Polish rye part of it or just the blending they did. You know, it smells very rye whiskey, of course, and being the cast strength, that's going to help elevate those notes, but it's much earthier to me. You know, on the palate with the Alberta rye is where I tend to get the nice sweetness and the fruitiness that comes through, but on the nose, this is very, very earthy. You know, it's got a layer of creaminess. You know, it's got classic rye notes, you know, where you're getting kind of that pepper. Yeah, for sure. Pepper, you know, black pepper notes on the back of the nose. It's not really stinging the nostrils like I was expecting from a cast strength rye. You know, I'd say a slight dill note comes through. Could be the MGP that's in this coming through, but it's not off-putting. You know, sometimes with some of those high dill forward whiskeys, it immediately off-putting to me. Still smells very nice and creamy. I'd say we got some orange zest and lemon peel in here too. A really nice nose. You know, a really nice nose. Classic rye. You can definitely tell it's rye, but there's definitely a slight variation on the nose. You know, it's much more earthy. Salt of the earth. Let's give it a sip. Cheers. Ooh. Yeah. So the first thing that comes through to me is kind of that Alberta rye profile. Very nice, you know, very nice mouth coating. Finish is a little bit lacking for being that proof. I was expecting it to just kick me in the face with the finish. We'll try, sip 2 and see. Really, really nice though. You know, Alberta's got that little bit different sweetness than MGP, and I'd say the Alberta's sticking out more than the MGP portion of this. But I'm getting a lot of actual bacon spices coming through on this, as well as those fruits. You know, as I mentioned, like the orange and the lemon zest still coming through. Dill once again not popping out, which I am appreciative of. Second sip even better. Explosion of sweetness on the front, to the point where you may not even know it's a rye whiskey. Once you drink it down the palate, the finish on the back end of the palate, it tells you it's rye. You know, it's the rye you want. Leaving a little bit of that rye tingle on the back of the palate that I love. I will say finish was a lot better on the second sip as well. This is actually a really good offering. Impressive. You know, it's 4-year age stated, but if you see that on the shelf, you might think, ooh, that's just a young rye. But with what they're blending into this barrel, into these bottles, it drinks way older than that. You know, it definitely tastes like a much more well-matured, well-aged rye, and well-balanced. You know, both of these were actually very well-balanced. As mentioned, I think Barrell knows what they're doing. You know, they really do. They're expertly blending, almost like a company like High West. I think they're blending fantastically. I would love to try some Barrell products that don't have George Dickel in them, just because George Dickel doesn't really agree with my palate. A lot of people love George Dickel, don't get me wrong. And with this, it's very subtle. you know, especially with the bourbon. Very subtle. But both wonderful expressions. As mentioned, $90. We're talking cask strength whiskey on all of these. You know, think of Knob Creek cask strength rye, $75. I really like that bottle at $75. I think I would take this over it. I would. You know, this is going to be included now in a lot of cask strength rye head-to-heads I'll do, as well as cask strength bourbons. We can do the same thing with Barrell. So they're both excellent expressions, you know, and I'm not just bullshitting because the bottles were sent to me. They're both really, really good. Price, as mentioned, is going to be the biggest hiccup for everyone. You know, if you can get them 90, sub 90, you know, and you have the disposable income, go for it. There's so many good budget, you know, less expensive bottles out there. It's so tough to recommend it be an immediate pickup. I would definitely say try these, and believe me, when you try them, you're like me, you know, you'll probably want to pick them up. So I think they're done very well, and nothing wrong with either of these expressions. Well, I appreciate y'all coming in and checking out this review today. Barrell's an awesome company. I think they already are, and they're going to continue to be one of the most successful blending companies out there. Curious to see if they're going to be doing any of their own aging and making some of their own whiskeys, kind of like High West is doing now, transitioning to their own products. Really curious to see where that goes, you know. Being a craft distillery, there's a lot more costs that go along with that, so I understand the higher prices on the bottles. But it's good stuff, you know. It means a lot you guys checked out this episode today. If you are interested in supporting the channel, please do check out my Patreon page, Bourbinsane. We got a lot of exclusive content, behind the scenes, videos you won't see on other social media platforms, as well as a lot of benefits just for being a patron and supporting the channel. So if you want to support the channel, that is really the best way. I appreciate each and every one of you coming and watching this review today. I'll see you all very soon. Make sure you stay tuned for round number 3 of our Battle of the Bourbons, best single barrel bourbon on the market. Oh, one more thing before we go. Let me know down in the comments, what are your impressions of Barrell Bourbon? You know, have you bought the expressions? What do you think about how they're blending? You know, price aside, do you think what's in the bottle is good? You know, I'd like to hear what you think. So, thank you all for being here. Stay insane, everyone.